Well, hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the Conscious Cruiser podcast. We are here for episode number 10 of the podcast, and we're super excited. I am Alisa from Alisa's Adventures in Cruising, and my wonderful, fun-loving, seafaring co-hosts are with me. I have Chet from Sea Lake Journeys and
Hey,
Scott from Controversial Cruising. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm Hawaii. I'm all Hawaii'd out. I'm over here. I'm living the aloha dreams over here off a 15-day voyage.
Amazing.
And man, it was amazing.
Yeah, we're a little jelly over here.
we're a lot of jelly over here.
It looked and sounded like you had a great time, but welcome back.
Thank you. Yeah, this topic's really gonna hit me because I'm actually flipping around and I'm going on a cruise, I think at the end of this month. So budget is going to be really in. I mean, it was already in the cards for this 15-day voyage. Now it's like mega budget. This is like budget. Yeah. So this is me talking to me this whole entire podcast.
Well, since you mentioned it, I guess I should let the listeners know that today's topic is the know before you go approach to budget style cruising.
Oh yeah.
So let's talk about it after this.
Welcome into the Conscious Cruiser podcast, the know before you go approach to cruising and travel. The smartest cruiser is the Conscious Cruiser. And your conscious casters, Alisa, Chet, and Scott.
I know. I like the music too. Well, like Scott said, he just came back from a long 15-day cruise. I had one that was much shorter, but still a lot of fun. And I know Sea Lake Journeys, you guys are getting ready to head out as well. So what do we know? What should we talk about as a good know before you go tip when booking a cruise and you're on a budget?
Chet, you want to go first?
True.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll go first. My biggest tip is to book early. Why would you book early? For a couple of reasons. One, usually you're going to get the lowest cost when that cruise first comes out. And second of all, you're giving yourself more time to budget those payments because you don't have to wait until the end when the money is due. You can make monthly payments along the way. Call your cruise line or your travel agent up, say, hey, I'm paying another $200 this month. Next month, do the same thing. And before you know it, you've got it paid for. Book it early, get the lowest cost, and then make your payments so you don't get caught at the end owing a bunch of money.
Yeah, I agree. What you got, Scott?
So if we're talking about before booking, if we're talking about looking and booking, I would say if you're really in a budget state of mind, I would look in an off season, right? Because right now cruising is in such a high demand, the deals are dwindling down. There are no last minute cruise deals. There are hardly any cruise deals. Yeah, there's still casino deals and things like that, right? But the height of the season, cruise industry and the cruise companies know that is kind of the trending vacation now, up against let's say the all-inclusive land resorts, right? That's always kind of the hot debate, right? But in the on season or a holiday, right, you're not going to get any kind of budget cruise deal. You know, you could throw a budget right out the window. So if I'm somebody that's looking before booking, I'm looking in a shoulder season. I'm looking in an off season. And hey, it might be a hurricane season that you're looking at, but there's other shoulder seasons that you can look at too when you're not looking at Christmas or New Year's, right? Or Super Bowl or something like that, right? Budget goes right out the window because you're spending most of your money because you want to be on a ship on that holiday. And not saying that it's not nice, but again, we're here talking about budget and those things. They're not on the same seesaw, or they're not on the same scale.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely need to do some research and sort of and be realistic about whatever it is your budget is before you try to book the cruise. The seasons or the opportunities for those amazing last minute off-season deals are not like they used to be. So, I'm not even going to put a number, but maybe you can't right now book the townhouse on the Icon of the Seas. Maybe you're more an interior on the Spirit. I don't know. Like, you need to research what actually are you looking at, so you can adjust your budget however.
Well, that's what we've done for our next cruise coming up. We booked an interior cabin because you will save money getting the interior cabin. After all, we're not going to be in there very much. We're going to go in there, sleep, and change clothes, and then we're back out to see the ship and the ports and all the beautiful things around us. So get an interior room in the off season, and you may need some help figuring out when those things are. Like me and Scott and Alisa, we know the Caribbean, I think, really well. But I think if we're going to go to Europe or Australia or somewhere else, we may need the help of a travel agent to help us save some money. They're going to help us find out that, hey, this cruise line does the same itinerary, but you can save $500 if you do it on this cruise line instead. And this is the time of year you want to go. If you can wait 2 more months, you can save another $300. Yeah. So think about getting a travel agent to help you with those places, to know when those off seasons are, and maybe a cruise line that may be a little cheaper than what you're used to paying on the cruise line that you love at the moment.
Absolutely. And I think it's important, right, to ask yourself as a cruiser, and even if you're a first-time cruiser, what's really important? And of course, budget, right, is definitely important. But if the second question is really what's important to me, is it destination? Is it ship? Is it just being on a ship, right? Mm-hmm. Then you can kind of gear yourself in more of a budget-friendly mindset rather than just going out there to book because you're booking. Right? Because that throws budget right out the window too, right? Alisa could be somebody that says, hey, I always wanted to go to Bermuda, right? Now her budget senses around Bermuda, right? She doesn't have to worry about the holiday or the ship, or the goal is Bermuda, right? For me, it might be, hey, I want to go on, the Carnival Radiance, right? And that's what's important for me. For one reason or another, I want to go on the Radiance. Now I can start looking in shoulder season for the Radiance, right? Because it's just going on the Radiance. It's not going on the Radiance for Super Bowl, because again, you don't get 2 things when you're looking at budget. You hardly ever get one, but it's important to look at your own interest and not just because Alisa wants to do something, or your other friend, or Chad, or, your mom wants to do something. Ask yourself, why do I want to do this? And then you can kind of really gear yourself in a budget-friendly mindset. I think it's important.
The cruise deals, like you say, and on the shoulder season are like, you have to look for them a little more than you used to.
Yes.
But the good thing is that there are so many ships, there's so many cruises right now. There's lots of opportunities. So just check them out.
And I know, Lisa, you know this for sure. Living here in Florida, we can find the same cruise from a different port. It may be $50 a piece cheaper. You save $100 if you drive to Miami instead of Fort Lauderdale, or drive to Port Canaveral. You got to look and see. They're going to the exact same ports. You may be side by side with that ship, one coming from Miami, one coming from Port Canaveral, and you may find out that one was $100 cheaper if you'd went on that one. So I look at the ports I leave out of as well to see which one's going to save me money.
That's true. And this last cruise that I went on was such a good deal. It was actually leaving out of Miami, and Port Canaveral would be my home port, I guess you would say. But the cost of me I actually hopped the Brightline train down to Miami. It was still a better deal. So I did that. I'm glad that Brightline is it's not all connected. They still got to add a few more stops, but from Orlando to Miami, I like it.
I like it. Brightline's awesome.
It was awesome.
Awesome, yeah.
Budget-friendly transportation there within Florida. Yes, definitely.
Yep. And, save yourself a couple hours behind the wheel.
That's right.
The traffic can be a challenge sometimes.
Oh,
Not
boy.
sponsored yet.
Yeah. Anyway. Now that we know we've researched the budget, we've figured out what we're gonna do. The next thing we might want to think about is if you could only choose one thing to do once you get on this budget friendly cruise, what would you do, or which thing would you choose? I have a couple of choices. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Would you do a specialty dining? Would you do the spa on the ship? Would you do a shore excursion, or would you select a Wi-Fi or laundry package? Like, what if you could only choose one thing to fit into your budget? Which one would it be, and why?
That's good. I like how the drink package isn't on there too. That's because it's not in the budget. It's not like you can't right. If you're talking about budget, the drink package is just not there. You have to choose when you want to drink, right? It's
Exactly.
Well, I mean, again, that's like you have to be real. You have to be real with yourself. If that is important to you and and you want that, then you have to include that in the overall cost of your cruise. But assuming that you've already made that choice, now what are you down to?
Oh, this one's hard for me.
Well, for me, it depends on where I'm going and how long I'm going. If I'm going on a short cruise to the Bahamas that I've been to 150 times, I'm probably going to take a spa day. You know what I mean? I'm going to say, hey, I've been to Bahamas a bunch. This is just a getaway cruise to kind of relax my mind and my body. I'm going to go to the spa and get those specials while everybody else is off the ship.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That you want to know what? I don't know. I didn't ever think I would ever become a sea guy, which is the shore excursions. I never thought I would say shore excursions, but let's just say if I was on a Journeys cruise like I was, it would have to be the shore excursion. I think overall, from the Alaska shore excursions to these, to even some of them that I've been in the Caribbean that I guess I might have taken for granted, those are experiences that you could just take back home with you as a memory forever, right? And I mean, Wi-Fi, it's great, and I think it's one of those things that I think we all think we need, but we really don't. Laundry, I don't have to worry about because I'm platinum now on the cruise line that I go on. So I can get my laundry there done for free. So, but if I had to, I guess I would pay for it if I really needed to, if I was on Royal or Virgin or something like that. But yeah, I would have to say shore excursion, and maybe not the knock it out of the park. Let's go on a tiny helicopter up to a mountain, but maybe a shore excursion that was within my budget that I would really take home and appreciate. So, yeah. Wow. You're growing up, Scott.
That is funny. I mean, I think people might be surprised that I'm not going to go with the Wi-Fi because I've been using that a lot the last couple of cruises. I agree with you guys. I would do or at least with you, Scott, I would do the shore excursion because I'm still into the destination. I want to see something of the island, even though I've been to Nassau a lot of times. I find something to do. I like to get out and see something. So I'm going to go with the shore excursion because unfortunately I know how to do laundry at home.
If I get off in Nassau, they just look at me and go, "Oh, you again?
You're back." Maybe it's like cheers for you, Chad.
But like I said, Alaska, you gotta do an excursion in Alaska, guys. You got to.
Yeah.
100%. If you go to Alaska, and even if you go to Nassau, right? There's budget friendly excursions, not real excursions, but you can pay for a day or not day pass, but you can go to Margaritaville, which is right there too, and you kind of feel like you have a separate vacation, and it's like $100 or something like that to get in. So it's really not that expensive of an excursion day. So
correct.
Yep.
All right. Well, I guess we made some tough choices. But we're gonna keep on cruising. So budget or not.
budget or not. And hey guys, I want to say something. I admit again, I am really honestly loving the way we sound on Spotify. Have you guys cracked our Spotify, any of the top 9 other episodes on Spotify?
Yeah, I love this. I love listening to it on Spotify. I think we sound pretty good.
Yeah, we listened to one episode yesterday. We had to drive up to Lake Wales and back, and it sounds great in the car. So I was like, wow, this is really good.
I love it. So whether you are driving to work, or whether you're driving to a campsite, or you're driving to your next cruise port, check us out on Spotify, The Conscious Cruiser. It will be in our description, and very easy to find on Spotify, The Conscious Cruiser. Give us a follow, give us a listen, and let us know what you think.
Love it. Spotify.
Spotify. I love it.
All
My
right.
mom
Well,
even listens to us on Spotify too. She told me. She's like, I found you on the Spotify.
yay, Mom.
She says the before everything. So it's the
That's okay.
Spotify,
That's
the
okay.
Apple.
You listen. That's what we appreciate. Thanks, Mom.
Love you, Mama.
All right. Well, now we've made our decision on what we're gonna do, or what's that key item to us if we're watching the budget. But how much would you spend, or do you spend when you're going ashore? How do you decide on that?
Ooh. Man, you're asking some good questions today, Alisa.
I think it's ironic that I got the budget week to host this podcast. Wait, I don't know what that's about. We're not, meaning it as a 4-letter word. It's just whether you have an unlimited budget or you have a very, very meager budget, cruising is for all of us. That's what we say.
It is.
Well, I'm lucky. I got Robin from Sea Lake Journeys that helped me with the onshore budgeting, and she takes envelopes and puts a certain cash amount. She goes, when we stop at this port, we have this envelope with this much money in it. And when we stop at this port, we have this envelope with this much money in it. We can't break the budget because that's all we have. But she factors in, how much we might spend on a souvenir. We know we ain't going to spend a whole lot. How much we might need to get some snacks and to pay tips to the drivers or the people taking us on the excursions, the guides, people like that. We try to factor in having cash tips for them as well, and maybe purchasing pictures if we're on an excursion where they're taking photos for us. So we like to carry that much. We kind of make an estimate there, stuff it in the envelope. If we ain't got it, we can't spend it.
Spend it.
Part of our budget.
That's a really good tip. I see, I'm learning. I might even use that on my next cruise. I might have to. I mean, that is a great tip.
I think it's a great system. I know lots of people who like the envelope system because of that. If once it's done, once that envelope is empty, that's it. You don't have to worry about overspending. And we're not always comfortable using the credit card, the debit card, in all of these locations, even though they have it as an option. Cash is still king. So I'd say have cash on hand, for just like you were saying, Chet, tips or small purchases. Or large purchases. I mean, if you want to walk around with a stack,
sombrero is pretty big. So if you buy a sombrero, to me, even if you pay $10 for it, that's a big purchase.
True. Did you have anything to add to that, Scott?
I would say, honestly, if you're going to a place where you know that you can't spend a lot of money, I'll give you a double header, right? There's always something that you can do for free, right? You can go tour, a church. You can go look at a canyon. You can always find something to do for free, right? And even if it's just strolling through the market and not buying anything because you can't, it's fine, right? You're still out, you're still taking pictures, and you're still enjoying whatever port you might be in, right? So how much will you spend ashore? It depends really on your budget. If I'm one that's budgeting and it's somewhere where I know I might want to get a souvenir, I always like, and thanks Mom for this, I always like the haggle method, right? And there are these places like Cozumel that you can go to where they may want 15, but we all know what it's really worth. They go back and forth, you go back and forth, and you end up settling for, $7.50. And it just so happens like that. And you feel a little rewarding, but guess what? And now that little doll fits into your budget magically because you haggled and dwindled down, $750. I always like that method. They know that it's going to happen. That's why they start at $15, and you're like, what? The thing is like 3 inches. What are you talking about? So I'll give you a double header. I'll give you that, and I'll give you that there's always free things to do at port. There is, and it may not be the thing that you want to do, but guess what? You're on the cruise. So you can go back and you can enjoy the ship. And it really depends on your budget, how much you want to spend and how much you can spend, because, airfare that you've already spent to get there, the ship in general, right? So I think the ports, honestly, for me, would come second, especially if you're budgeting.
Well, sometimes it's not a matter of a choice there. Like you said, you've already spent to get there and to pay for the cruise, and you might, this is it. This is what you got.
We've had a lot of stops like that where we just, get off the ship and look for a place to go sit down on a beach somewhere and wait till it's lunchtime, then get back on the ship and eat lunch, and
perfect,
not spend any money because we didn't have any more money.
Right, you spent quality time with Robin from Sea Lake Journeys.
That's right. That was like gold.
It is.
Well, I guess it's time now for the question of the cast, and we may have already talked about some of this, but let's go again. When you're planning a budget cruise, what things should you be considering? Things like, I think we already mentioned the overall cost of the cruise, or how much you spent to get there. What do you think?
I know I would add one, new ship versus an older ship. Everybody wants to get on that brand new shiny ship, but hey, it may be $1,000 to get on that ship for a few days versus the older ship sitting next to it. You can get on it for $500 for a few days. You know what? I'm budget cruising. I'm going to take the $500 and get on that older ship. You'll find that will definitely save you money. And you know what? That new ship will be a little bit older in a few years, and then you can get on it when you're doing your next budget cruise.
True.
That's right.
True.
It's like this iPhone society, or the cell phone society we live in, right? We all want the newest and best cell phone, right? So we always upgrade every year. Hey, guys, I got an 11. I don't even know when the 11 came out, probably in like 98 or something. But yeah, I don't need the newest and best. So yeah, I agree.
Christmas is coming, Scott. They'll be happy to tell you how old your model is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They will.
The commercials will let us know how old our phones
are. They will remind you.
Even the cruise commercials, they're coming out with commercials now. I see them on Instagram and things like that. As I'm scrolling, I'm like, oh, you guys are getting fancy with your marketing now. Trying to draw us in on these newest and biggest ships and painting the experience. That's really what it is. That's what they're doing, painting the experience.
And we know that you can have as good a time on an older ship, a smaller ship, as you can on a big one. Especially when you're budget cruising. I like the older ships. To me, some of them are fantastic, and we go on them again and again because we love them.
Yep, they're comfortable and tried and true. They've been around a while, and people love them. They have a bit of a following. People love going back on ships that they've been on a time or two, right, Chat?
You know it. I'll tell you something else we've done though to save money on budget. Particularly the last couple of Carnival cruises we had. We don't get the drink package because when you're on a budget, that really does not fit in, because you can spend as much on a drink package as you did on the cruise sometimes. So what we do is we just say, hey, we'll order, if you want to have alcohol, you can order a bottle from the ship before you get on it, and they'll have it sent to your cabin. And then you get the 12-pack of Coke from them, or bring your own 12-pack of Coke if it's allowed, and you can make your own right there in your cabin. We saved a lot of money that way if we wanted to have alcohol. But we've had other cruises where we were really on the cheap, and we said, you know what, let's just get the Coke package, because she likes to have a ginger ale. That's how she fights against seasickness.
Yeah.
And I don't drink Cokes during the rest of the year, and I like to have one when I'm on a cruise. So we go ahead and get the Coke package, and we do that. It saves a lot of money. And if you wander around enough, sometimes you'll find the free drink on the ship. Go to the art auction. Don't buy the art. Just have the free champagne.
I think I've done that a time or two. They're sometimes in the casinos as well.
Yeah.
Like if they're showing, teaching the table games or just a general welcome to the casino, they will do a little cocktail hour. So,
And your status party, if you're a certain status level, you might get a free drink.
Love that status party. Here's one. Your travel to the port, it's really important. For me, in being in Arizona, flying to Florida is almost double the cost as it is to fly to LA or fly to San Francisco or fly to San Diego. There's a few ships that go to San Diego, but yeah. So thinking about first where your cruise is going out of and the port and your location is going to save you a ton of money up front and on the back end too when you have to return.
Yeah. And like I said before, I just think actually taking the time to think about what is really important to you on this cruise, it will help you so much, because if you are go on a cruise and it's not going to matter to you unless you come home with the t-shirt or the magnet, make sure there's money in the budget for a t-shirt and a magnet. Some people collect the ship models. Some people have to have the picture package. Nobody I know, but you know what I mean? So there are things. So just really think about it and try to include that in your planning so that you're not caught off guard by it or you don't break your budget.
Yeah. And I've got a couple of tips for you too of where not to save money. Don't save money by skipping on the gratuities.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
don't do that.
That's not right. Don't do that. Don't take your gratuities off because you're on a budget cruise and you think, hey, those guys are already making money. Let me take that money back. I don't know. I have too much conscience, I guess, to do that. And since we are the conscious cruiser, we're going to have a conscience as well as a conscious.
Yes, definitely don't do that. That is what they work for.
Yeah, I would say a good way to help the budget is to prepay those again, so that's already done before you get on the ship and you're not in dread of the final bill. It's already done.
Yes,
I agree. I also here's another one too. I used the cash account. I don't know if any of you use the cash account, but instead of using the credit card or a debit card, which I don't do it for the hold reason, but I use it to budget myself. And I know that now I have to go to the machine and put in another 100 or another 50 if I want to continue the fun, instead of, hey, it's just there on my debit card. Or, oh, it's this there on my credit card, right? It's just so easy to say, yeah, another 50, but another 50 turns into 150. So,
yeah. And cruise math becomes problematic once you've had a little bit of fun.
Sure, let's do it. Yeah, I put it on my card. Yeah. I got we spent $500 last night. I bought the drink
package. My last tip for where not to save money is don't skip out on the travel insurance, y'all.
Yes.
Get that travel insurance. Don't skip on that, because you don't need it till you need it. But when you don't have it, that's when you'll need it. And wow, you're going to spend a whole lot more money. Agreed.
Yes, that's on the front end. Go ahead and get it while you can, and that small extra fee in the beginning might be worth it in the long run. You just never know.
That's right.
Allianz has a great year-long plan, and honestly, the way that we all cruise, all three of us on the panel, I know that I can say that out loud, but also you guys out there listening, it pays for itself. It's like $140 or something like that for a whole year of coverage, right? You're paying like $49 a cruise or $44 or $54, whatever it is now, but it's crazy. Just get the year long and then you're set for as many cruises as you want to go on. You don't have to worry about it. You can click the little no button on Carnival. No, I have my own, because guess what? You do have your own. You don't have to buy double. This isn't double C's. You only have to have one travel insurance.
Right.
Right.
Also, not
you have one.
Yeah.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed our Know Before You Go budgeting travel tips. But if you had any of your own, please put them in the comments. Let us know. Share. We'd love to hear what you think, and we hope you enjoyed this episode. But before we go, is there anything you guys want to give to the audience as a parting, a little takeaway?
Keep cruising in your budget.
That's the best tip I've heard all day.
That is good.
I can't.
Yes, we're assuming that there's already an established cruising budget. We're assuming that, right? So keep it in there. It's a line item.
Yeah, when I was a mechanic in my career, I always told my wife, I will always have a tool bill. When the Snap-on tool truck rolls in, I always owe him money as long as I'm working. Well, now that I'm retired, it's a cruise budget thing. I will always owe a cruise line money as long as I'm retired.
I was going to say, do you have a little cruise truck that comes around your community that just sells cruises at like an ice cream truck? I was going to say, I'm jealous.
That's an idea. Maybe we should just start doing that ourselves. We'll just
new business venture.
Yeah, I'm in.
Cruises on the go with Chet.
Sounds fun. Well, thank you guys, and thank you guys for joining us for episode number 10 of the Conscious Cruiser. We'll see you next week on Sea Lake Journeys channel Monday at 8:30 and on Spotify at the same time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Have a great Monday.